Hey folks, this is your first video in this particular section dealing with exponential functions. The first thing I want to do is just give you a reminder of some rules. You should have had these rules in previous courses, so none of these are going to be new rules, but they are going to be rules that we're going to use quite frequently in the next few sections, so please be familiar with them. The first rule is the product rule, and that is when I'm multiplying two bases that are alike, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my powers. Rule number two, if I am dividing two bases that are alike, I'm going to subtract my powers. Number three, if I take a power and raise it to another power, then I'm going to multiply my powers. Now, I'd like to point out that for all three of these rules, notice that the base did not change. And number one, my base was A, it stayed A. Number two, my base was A, it stayed A. Same for number three. So just understand that you're keeping your base. It's only your powers that you're working with here. For rule number four, we are going to notice that I am taking the power of a product. And so here I am allowed to take that power and give it to each piece in my product. Same thing with number five. Instead of a product though, it is a quotient. Please understand that with these two rules, this does not work when it's adding or subtracting. It only works for multiplying and dividing. Rule number six, when you raise anything to the power of zero, you're always going to get a one out. Number seven, a negative power tells you to move. In this particular case, notice that my base remained the same, but it moved to the bottom of the fraction and the power becomes positive. So the movement makes my power a different sign. And then lastly, number eight rule says that if I have the rth root, so maybe this is a square root, a cubed root, a fifth root, of some base raised to a power, this is going to be that same base. My power stays the same, it's on top, and my root is on the bottom, kind of like the roots of a tree are on the bottom, but the power for the tree comes from things that are in the air, like the sun, the wind, the rain, etc. So that the power goes on top, the root goes on bottom. I have a table listed here for you. I'm not going to go through this, but the rules are repeated, but then there's also some examples of them. So if you're really stuck on a rule and you don't understand why it is what it is, this particular table might help you out with that.